Every time. Every time. Screw up something on the intro with the audio. Hey, everyone. Um, Welcome to the Office Hours, Rokoko Office Hours. I'm Sam Lazarus, Creative Director for Rokoko. Hopefully audio issues have been sorted out a little bit. Hopefully no crackling. We had some audio issues last time. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone in the comments. Nice to see you. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about the Made with Rokoko contest that we just launched. So we do one of these contests every month, actually. And we have prizes that you can win every month. But this month, hello, Jordy. Hello, Mehmet, Finn, Ben, everyone. Gabby, we'll get to your question in a second. But yeah, this month for our contest, we are... we're going a little bit bigger because we just announced the Rokoko Smartsuit Pro II. So the grand prize is a Smartsuit Pro II, and the second prize, I'm just pulling up the official list. But yeah, the second prize is a pair of, so the first prize is a full bundle of everything. So Smartsuit Pro II, smart gloves, Studio Plus and face capture for a year. Second prize is a pair of smart gloves. Third prize is $500 to spend on our mocap marketplace. So really exciting, fun prizes. And I know that there's been people who've come to the stream before who are looking to get their hands on a smart suit, but not, but a little bit cheaper. And this is a good opportunity to do so and participate because it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're wondering more about the details of how you enter the contest and everything, we just started a Discord. And let me go grab the invite link to that, because I had it last time to throw in the chat. Let me go grab this guy. But yeah, we just started a Discord. And it's been super awesome so far. Here's the link right here. And we have all the rules are on the Discord. You have until December 6th to submit. So there's still lots of time left. I mean, we just got started. And yeah, it's going to be fun. And, judging, is going to be, I'm going to be judging, and Clinton Jones, the Punisher, is going to be judging, and Peter France, from Corridor. And so awesome guys, experts at the contest judging, if you've been paying attention to any of the Punisher's contests in the past, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, so today, in addition to answering, these office hours are an opportunity just to interface with Rokoko and us, and I can answer questions about general workflow stuff. We can talk about anything, but I generally work on kind of a background project during the stream, and I just figured we'd kind of spend this whole month focused on creating, submissions for the contest. So, obviously my submission is not valid for the contest, but it's a good way to show some of the workflows, of how to use our mocap, and so we're kind of gonna be going through all of that. So. Yeah. And of course the big rule for the contest is that you have to use some form of Rokoko mocap. If you have a smart suit already, or smart gloves, or access to face capture, you can use those, and that's great. But we wanted to make sure that people who didn't have suits or hardware could still participate. And so we have the Motion Library, which is our mocap marketplace. And I can pull that up right now. And so this is a way that you can still use Rokoko mocap and enter the contest, because you have to use some form of Rokoko mocap in your animation, and even if you don't have a suit. So I kind of want to focus on people who don't have a suit, because I assume if you do have a suit, you kind of know the deal. And I think it's more useful to go over how to get motion capture, Rokoko motion capture, and integrate it into your software. And so, today, I think we're going to focus on Cinema 4D, which is my OG software. Spend a lot of time in there still. But we can talk about Maya, we can talk about Blender, we can talk about Unreal, we can talk about Unity, and how to get all this mocap working in those softwares, depending on what you're working in. And so I encourage you just to ask your questions in the comments, and we'll try to get to everything and show off some of these workflows, because it's really not that hard to get your mocap onto a character for an animation. So we have a couple comments here. Gabby, how do you win a brand new Smartsuit Pro? Enter in the contest. Rules are on the Discord, which is at that link. Basically, you have to. It's an animation, right? So it has to be under a minute. The theme is new beginnings, so it's really just a jumping off point. Like, there's no, in terms of what we're going to be kind of judging by, it's really just going to be creativity, like just, how interesting it is, render quality to a degree, but like, it's really about how you're using the mocap and doing something interesting, right? Something that's, it doesn't have to be the most complicated thing in the world. It just has to be, compelling. And so I expect we'll get a lot of different things, but new beginnings, like there's it could be like starting, you could be like sitting down to a meal. That could be a new beginning. Fall stuff is a new beginning. Life cycle, there's lots of ways you can interpret new beginnings. We left it pretty vague in on purpose because we just want it as a jumping off point. So it could be a lot of different things. A hermit crab, like finding a new shell. I don't know how you do that with mocap, but a turtle finding a new shell or something, that could be a new beginning. So there's a lot of, wiggle room in that theme. It's got to be an original creation. You have to submit before December 6th. And you have to submit a clay render as well, because we just want to make sure it's your work. And you also have to post it, I think, on Instagram with our Made with Rokoko hashtag on any Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. You just have to use it so that it's searchable, because we want everyone to be able to find the Made with Rokoko stuff, and for us to be able to find them to judge them. And then you can also submit on the Discord as well. The Discord is a great community and lots of advice, and I encourage you to go check it out if you haven't yet, because it's a great way to just get answers if you're stuck in a workflow or something. It's been great so far. So, a couple more questions. Out of curiosity, does every animation asset have to be from Rokoko? The hero asset has to be from Rokoko. I know that it's kind of limited in terms of what's free on the motion library, because there's thousands of animations on the motion library, but most of them are paid. We do have, I think it's a little over 100 free ones, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on. But the hero animation should kind of be Rokoko, right? The idea is that we want people to just be using the tools and experimenting with the tools. So if you had some Mixamo animations in the background because you couldn't find something you needed on the motion library, I think that would be okay. But the focus of your piece should be a mocap asset that is from the motion library or something you created yourself using the hardware, Frostbite. Hopefully that answers your question. Nick Arthur Knight, is the pre-order window still open? I believe it is still open, but if you want to be sure, I'd go ask on the Discord and you'll get a definitive answer. But I'm pretty sure it is still open. So you can still pre-order, and that will basically get you to the front of the line when we do start shipping Smartsuit Pro II. Snappy Snake, I had a question about the music. So I would say you are allowed to use a background song from a movie or a series, but it should work without it, because if we ended up, the winners we want to show. So, and if you have something from Avengers, it'll get copyright striked and we won't be able to show it. So, and that could have an effect on I would keep that in mind, right? So you could, but I wouldn't rely on background music, especially if like you're trying to do an Avengers themed, New Beginnings animation or something. I wouldn't rely on the background music, because it will be cut out when we had to show it. So that's a good question, and I would ask that. I'll go bring that to the Discord as well and get a more definitive answer. But it's fine. I think it's generally fine to use music. It's just that, again, if you get selected, we won't be able to show it with the music, and so that kind of takes some of the shine off of it. So always best to try to find copyright-free songs, and I'll have a more definitive answer on that next time. Pixel Fire, what up? Nice to see you. I still owe you an email. It's been going well. Hopefully it's been going well with you. Pixel Fire is an awesome VTuber that you can check out, who has a great Rokoko workflow. Super cool, super cutting edge for VTubing, especially with our gear. So awesome channel. So Shane, if we use metahumans for the contest, can we animate the face ourselves, or does that eliminate us for not using a Rokoko animation? So you could totally animate the face yourself as long as the body had Rokoko mocap on it. It needs to have Rokoko mocap in it. That's kind of got to be the focus, right? Is the Rokoko mocap hero asset, right? The thing that should be the focus of your animation is going to be mocap related, and that needs to be a Rokoko mocap. So yeah. Anchor, I'm really sorry to hear that. We did release a statement about why the shipping delays have happened. So that's a very long time, and we definitely apologize. I would, reach out to customer success at rokoko.com if you want to try and get an update. I don't know if you've tried that, but sometimes you can get an update on shipping that way. And the Discord is also a place to go just to ask questions about that stuff. So I guess it's Squid Game. Danny's got skills. Is that, I don't know, is that for what you're going to make? New Beginnings? Maybe? I don't know, Danny's. Anyway, cool. So that's a couple of the questions. I think we'll just kind of get started now. And so, let's go over the motion library. So the motion library, as I've said, is our mocap marketplace, and you can access it. Finn, just a quick question. I'm just wondering what your partnership program is like. Do you have specifications for being sponsored? We don't have like an open enrollment for sponsorship or anything like that. I think there is a plan at some point to like open it up to applications. Again, this is another, the Discord is kind of the single source of truth, more so than me, certainly. But generally with partnership and things, we partner with people doing interesting things. So if you're doing interesting things and using the mocap, and you have, usually an audience, because, we want to get our products out in front of a lot of people, that can matter. But I don't think there's any like specifications or open applications for being sponsored. Danny's got skills. Planning for the metaverse. I mean, as much as anyone is, right? We know that the metaverse is becoming more and more of a thing. I think VTubing is becoming more and more of a thing. We're planning for, for it to be a bigger part of of everyone's life. So I think mocap will continue to be more relevant. Or we're working on other tools to make it easier to record. The goal is always, the old catchphrase for Rokoko is democratizing mocap. So the goal is always to make as cheap, high quality products as we can, to kind of get away from the paradigm of only having to have $100,000 or $50,000 to make quality mocap. So, we're planning for it, but there's nothing, that I have that's like specifically about the metaverse, other than continuing to make our tools work better with Epic, with Unreal stuff. And yes, Pixel Fire, I did hear about Unity acquiring Weta. Everyone, Unity has acquired Weta for, I think, $1.something billion. Crazy news. Unity punching back at Epic. Love it. It's so freaking cool. It's amazing. I think it's really smart. It's a reason to go get back into Unity if you're not into Unity or thought that Unreal had won the war, because they clearly haven't. Weta Digital is a real, tastemaker. They forge the path forward for the entire industry. So that's a really smart purchase, I think. Crazy. Anyway, sorry for the rambly interruptions, but yeah, this is what we're looking at right here. This is the motion library, and so you can access the motion library just by going to Rokoko.com and downloading our Rokoko Studio, which you can find right 3D software, Rokoko Studio, download. It's free. And once you download it and you register a username for free, you then have access. Once you open it up, you click on this little ML button up here in the top left corner, and you have access to the motion library. And the motion library is a library of mocap that is, some of it's made using Rokoko, a lot of it is made not using Rokoko. Some of it's Vicon, some of it's Xens, you know? It's just a big library of high-quality mocap assets. And prices range from $3 to $6, I think, per asset. There's tons of interesting things out there. Some publishers I really love, really high-quality stuff. But there's also a bunch of free stuff, right? So the idea with the contest is you don't have to be spending money to participate. We have about 100 assets, I think, on the motion library that are free. So if you use one of those, you get to submit. No problem, and there's a bunch of interesting things. And so, if you open up the motion library, you can browse by category, you can browse by publisher. If you're looking for dance mocap, I always go to Moro Motion. Unbelievable dancing motion capture stuff. Let's try it. Yeah, look at this one. You can scrub through everything, you can rotate around. But like a low effort new beginnings post with like this could be like you write new beginnings in bubble text and you have a character dancing and like there are balloons on the text. Like that maybe, that's pretty low effort, but like that would count as being a new beginnings post. But there's a lot of things I think you could do with dancing. You could do like a New Year's celebration thing and there's a character dancing and it's like the New Year's clock is going up or whatever. Or you have balloons going, or it's, I don't know, a birthday or something. You could use the dancing, I think, in a lot of different ways. And then there's obviously things that aren't just dancing, but that's just kind of a low-hanging fruit. But if you want to find free things, and I've got to click on here somewhere, I don't want that, you can go to this main ML page and then just hit organize filter by price, right? And so if you do in descending order, you're going to get all the $0 mocap right on the first page. And so this is all free. You can download this right now. You can use it in any project beyond the Made for Rokoko contest. These can be used commercially, all of these. You could throw them in a game and sell them. You can't sell them, but you could throw them in a game and sell the game. You just can't redistribute them. You can't like sell them, obviously. But you can use them for free in anything. Got some stairs, got some running, got one of those great dances from Moro Motion. You can make I like this like wall lean, So I think with idols and things, there's like a lot of things that you could do anything in the theme of new beginnings and then kind of use some mocap in as the focus, but really not have it be like about the mocap, and that would still count. It's just integrating. Like you could have someone leaning on a wall in front of a building being constructed or something, and that's like, that works. That's a new beginnings. I'm going to throw out a lot of bad ideas probably throughout this session that come to me, but that's the way that my brain works. But there was one that looked pretty cool, and there's a ton that are paid, but these are just all the free ones, which I think is good to kind of focus on. Yeah, balancing walk. So this one looked pretty neat, and just like a little balancing walk, and I thought, what we could do... what we could do in this session, in Cinema 4D is kind of like do a little character that's like doing this balancing walk on a tree stump. that is in the forest, and like the leaves are falling around it, and that's like new beginnings, right? It's fall and we're playing in the forest. And I actually thought that I could use this little teddy bear from Daz. This is a Daz little teddy bear that we could use for it. And so the goal of this office hours, beyond just answering questions and chatting and stuff, is I'm going to be focusing on Cinema 4D. So I'm going to be downloading this mocap in Rokoko Studio. Again, free software. You can download it right now. I'm going to be using free mocap that you can get from the Motion Library. You can download this asset right now and get to work. We're going to retarget it within Cinema 4D. Although normally my retargeting workflow works through Maya because I think that's the best, but we're going to stay within each software that we kind of look at this month. And so we're going to put a little something together. So that's going to be the plan for the rest of the stream. In addition to just answering questions and stuff. Pixelfire, it's crazy. I don't think people realize how big of a deal it is because Weta is made up of a lot of engineers and things too. So they have a ton of, they've done everything. Weta is like at the center of all the major VFX, many of the major VFX that we've seen in the last 2 decades. 3 decades, starting with Lord of the Rings, which is, I believe, where it was created. It was created for the original Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson. And so they have tons of engineers and proprietary stuff that, like, hopefully will get folded into Unity at some point. So JK, can I send back the first version I just received 2 months ago and swap it for the new version? So what I would do is actually reach out to customer success and ask. We've kind of been slowly integrating some of the hardware components into the suits that have been going out because we realized that, there was going to be a lot of people who had bought Smartsuit Pro 1s. So the 1 doesn't have the new hardware configuration, right, where it's going to allow the smart gloves to plug directly into the suit, but you will get a lot of the other things that are coming because we're going to be able to, we've kind of put some hardware in a lot of the new suits. So I'm sure if you received it 2 months ago, you probably have the new hardware in there. And it's essentially slumbering, waiting to be woken up by a firmware update and by the new version of Rokoko Studio, which is going to be coming out in the new year. And that's going to enable like elevation tracking, a lot of stuff like that. The hardware that you have is already better, I would imagine. I don't know for sure because I don't know your order. But you can reach out and confirm what hardware you have. You should have gotten an email kind of explaining this. I know it's a little complicated, but we knew that people who are ordering Smartsuit Pro 1s were going to be like, oh, there's a new suit. So we've been putting in the upgraded some of the upgraded components into those suits, and you will get access to some of the new abilities of the Smartsuit Pro 2, even though you have a 1 textile in a 1 configuration. It should still run faster and be better, especially when we start pushing those firmware updates and it kind of wakes it up. Yeah, JK, I would reach out, to customer success and just confirm it, but you will still be getting access. And if you want to do the send back the first version, I don't know if that's available, but you can reach out to the customer success again at rokoko.com. You can shoot them an email or reach out in the Discord to someone and try to, work something out. But yeah, we knew that would be a kind of a thing. TF, are you guys doing any content creator promotions? We do, but we kind of are, we're not doing a lot of new ones right now. So at some point in the future, again, if you're on the Discord, any announcements will always be going through the Discord and through new email newsletters and stuff. But the Discord is the place to stay up to date. But if we have promotions that we're opening up or applications, it will always be there. And so, yeah, you can check the Discord. That's kind of my constant refrain. Anyway, okay, so we're on here. We got some mocap we like. We're making new beginnings contest entry. And if I want to get this mocap downloaded, and again, this is free. I have already downloaded this, but there would be a little purchase button. So you'd purchase it. Actually, let's go back and let's Let's do this on one of the other ones. So look, gesturing dance. Add it to my cart. Because it's $0, you don't have to enter in your card information or anything like that. You just hit checkout and it will add it, and you'll be able to download it. So you have to purchase it, but you're purchasing it for $0. So it's not like you have to do anything. And once you purchase it, you'll go find it. You'll hit download and you'll hit import, and you can import it basically into, you have to import it into a project that you've created. So in this case, I imported it into a random project, and you go find it and open folder, and here it is, right? And I think normally it downloads into the project folder that you selected in Rokoko Studio, right? So this is in your documents folder. And we have tutorials on our YouTube. If you want more of an overview on the Motion library and how to use it and how to download from it, or the Discord. How many times can I say that in one stream? Link to the Discord is up in the chat, but here it is again. Boom. Weirdly difficult to get links to Discord servers, I've found, but I do have one. Abdullah, hi as a beginner artist, do you think? Yes, you should participate. Absolutely, you can totally participate. You know, I would keep it simple. You know, as a beginning artist, don't bite off more than you can chew. But like, you know, an interesting idea with, you know, can be just as compelling as like an interesting idea with like not the best render is just as compelling as like a boring idea and a really fantastic render, right? It's really about how creative you are, and just how unique and interesting your animation is. That's kind of what's driving it. Yeah, and Frostbite, I think that's actually really great. I participated in the Punisher's big contest, and like I think I learned more trying to make an asset for that than I had in a long time. You know, because it just forces you to really think through things, and maybe you do a storyboard and like you really get into it. And so joining these contests, I think regardless of whether or not you win, can be like a fantastic exercise. You have a timeline that you need to work within, so you need to kind of plan out your time. You need to plan out when you're going to do your rendering. You know, you need to finish like hopefully the week before so you're ready to render. It's just a great exercise, especially if you're a beginner, because it's just like, it's fun also, and it forces you just to do something that normally is a little bit, I find the way that I work is like just more off the cuff, and this forces you to think about it a little bit more, so that's always good. Anyway, okay, cruising along here. So we've got our mocap downloaded, and so any mocap that you get from the Motion library, this is one of the best things about, I think, the Rokoko ecosystem, is that any mocap you get is going to come in a T-pose. Working on getting that epic A-pose as an option, but for now it's a T-pose, which is really great for retargeting, because if things aren't in a T-pose, it's difficult to retarget, you know, and that is going to be a part of this process, right? You're going to have to retarget a character, or your mocap to a character. And so it makes it a lot easier if frame one is a T-pose. So thankfully, all of the animations from the Motion library are in a T-pose at frame one. So if we open up, okay, well this was, I did this literally in, you know what, no, we're gonna start from scratch on this. Let's delete everything. So let me just grab that mocap because I just want to show you how it comes in. We'll bring it into Cinema 4D. I'm in R23. R23 or higher has some great mocap retargeting tools in Cinema 4D. But here's our mocap, as you can see, T-pose on frame one. And there we go. That's our mocap. Looking good. Make the timeline a little bit longer. Excuse me. Always burping when I'm on stream. Everybody's always burping. I don't know why. Timeline is at 30, so I'm going to change it to 24. And I'm going to save this. in our edit, and we're going to call this New Beginnings Rokoko V0. And there we go. So we got our mocap. So, maybe what we'll do first is work on retargeting our character, and then we will get into some environment design really quickly at the end, because I think the focus is going to be the place that people, if you've never done this before, the place you're going to run into trouble is retargeting, because it's kind of a whole thing, and it's something that is surprisingly unique, and if you haven't done it before, you can run into issues, and each software is different. And so ask questions about retargeting if you have any, and I'll do my best to answer. But let's do that first. So we open up Daz. Daz Studio has tons of different characters. It's a free, Daz Studio is free, and they have a whole marketplace with these characters. And this is a teddy bear character that I thought would be cute to have be walking on a log in a forest, leaves falling. It's like kind of a Winnie the Pooh. It's like if your teddy bear came to life, and it's like a cute little scene, hopefully. So Christian, I believe that you can only it's only FBX from the motion library. I need to confirm that because I usually only really work in FBX. So let me try to do this right now. Yeah, I don't think that you can, because you can only download from the motion library, and I think the only supported format is FBX, unfortunately. So that can make it, I assume you're working in Max, Christian. And if so, you'll just have to open up Blender and download a BVH plugin or something and translate it somehow. That's a good... I don't get a lot of Max users. Maybe you're not a Max user and you're in another software, but if you are, you're probably using FBX. Usually BVH is only for Macs, I've found. But yeah, there's no way to get it from the motion library in another format. But hop on the Discord, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out, maybe translating or transcoding. I don't know if that would be the right word, but getting it into a BVH format. So yeah, unfortunately. It's tough with Macs. Not a lot of support out there, including us. We need to have some more tutorials and stuff for Macs, but it's tricky because it's not the most used, in my experience. Excuse me, Macs people. Anyway, got my FBX. I got my character, and I'm just gonna export this guy as a straight up FBX, and I like to put these guys in raw, and I'm gonna call this. Teddy Bear Daz. I don't really need morphs, but there are a lot of character expression morphs that you can add in Daz. Maybe we'll go back and add that later. Yeah, a Blender export might be the way to handle that BVH translation. I think there's also some weird software that does translation of FBX to BVH, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so let's go grab our character, Teddy Bear Daz, and look what we got here. I got a short little teddy bear, really cute. Hopefully my screen isn't blocking anything. Make myself a little bit smaller here. Boop. Boop. Okay. So if we want to retarget these guys, I'm going to use the character definition tag that is in Cinema 4D. And this is basically a retargeting tag. And the basics of retargeting is that you have two skeletons, right? You have your character skeleton and you have your mocap skeleton. Your mocap skeleton is animated. It has keyframes on it. That is the animation, rotational keyframes of the joints. And what you need to do retargeting is tell the software you're working in, hey, this is the hip bone for my mocap, and this is the hip bone for my character. And so when I say retarget, you take the animation from the mocap and you put it on the hip of the character. And you go through and you define the bones for both your mocap and your character so that the software knows how to translate, basically where to send the keyframes from your mocap, which bone to send it onto for your character. And so this process is generally the same in all the softwares. It's the general process. There's different ways to do it in all the softwares, but in all the softwares, you're going to be doing a bone list definition before you can do retargeting. And in Cinema 4D, the way that is done is with it's called a character definition tag. So if we go and we add that to our mocap, which again is this reference right here, I'm going to go and I'm going to go to rigging, character definition. You get this little tag right here, and I'm throwing it onto the null that contains my mocap. And if we go to Open Manager, you basically get this list that has all the bones. And if you hit Extract Skeleton, and if you're lucky, and I believe this works for all of the mocap that comes out of the motion library, it will automatically extract all these bones. So you go to hips, and it says, oh, this is the hips, from my mocaps right here, hips. And I go to spine, and it automatically extracted all the spine bones. Spine 1, spine 2, spine 3. Neck. Head, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, talking. Looking at this question from Finn, kind of an off-topic question, but I see in Rokoko Studio there is a Steam VR support. So I think that's the Vive integration is what you're talking about, the Vive tracker integration. So Steam VR, but it's Vive because Steam VR I think can mean like a lot of different things at this point. But so you can use Vive trackers to determine absolute position for your mocap. So there's basically a virtual production workflow that involves Vive trackers. Yeah, you can use it for prop tracking. Hi Amsterdam stuff. Yeah, but it's a little bit out of date, that whole workflow. The idea with it is that you can use a Vive tracker, and because ours is a software-based mocap, right? Our mocap translation is based on an algorithm that's basically determining where your character is moving based on their foot contact with the ground. So it's not absolute, right? It's not tracking your sensors like in the room. It's using the accelerometer data in your sensors. So you can throw a Vive tracker onto yourself and it will position your character in the right place. It's kind of a complicated workflow that I really don't have a lot of experience with myself, but if you want to know more, check the Discord. I'm going to be saying it a lot. Anyway, so here's my bone list. Yeah, this is all extracted automatically for my mocap. So this one's good. Now we need to do it for our little bear guy. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a character definition tag. I'm going to open up the manager. Do I have a preset? Gen 8. I think I do. So basically, you can go in and you can manually add all of these, right? Spine, abdomen lower, upper, chest lower, So I can go in and add all these. And once you've done that, you can save a preset. So let's see if I can do that. I don't know if it's I don't think I set up these presets the right way. So I'm just gonna have to add it all manually. So it's not the worst. And extract skeleton is a little bit dangerous, I find, if you don't know that it's working. So it did a couple. So I'm just gonna do the rest. So starting with the hips, and I clicked this little button here, you can add things. Spine, boop, 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 boop. Left arm. is going to be left collarbone. Bicep is going to be left shoulder bend. We ignore twist bones. Ignore twist bones. So forearm is going to be forearm bend, not twist. Hand is going to be, left hand. Right arm, right collar. For the clavicle, bicep is left shoulder bend. Forearm is forearm bend. Hand is hand. I'm not going to do the fingers because we don't really need to. Thigh, left thigh bend. Shin, shin. You go through and you add them all. I'm sure that me talking about it in real time is really super helpful. No, you guys are all smart. You guys and gals are all smart. You can figure it out on your own. I'm sure what I'm doing here. I'm just assigning the correct bones to the right category, and then it's done. Pretty easy. And once I've done that, what I actually need to do is make sure this is in a T pose. You can see this isn't in a T pose. So I'm just gonna go and grab the shoulders, T pose them. Rotate them 50 degrees. Boom. And then I'm actually going to move the feet a little, the legs too, because they look a little, do them 5 degrees. Because you want these two to be matching, these two poses ideally. And so once you've posed it, you can go to set reference pose. And this is now the reference pose. So if I even move this guy out, and I go to reference pose. Oh no. If I move one of the bones and I go to reference pose, it'll snap it back into that T pose. Amsterdam stuff. It's like 10 minutes. It depends on how fast your hands move, but it's super quick. Yeah, it's really easy to take the sensors out and put them in a new suit. I do it all the time. With those suits back there. You just want to make sure that you're not on a rug that is this rug is sticky for the Velcro, so that I don't do it in here. I do it in a place where it's because if you take the sensors out and then they're getting stuck to the rug or they're getting stuck to I don't know, something. It's Velcro, right? So you just want to make sure you're not on a rug that will snag the sensors. That makes it very frustrating. Yeah, you can imagine. You have a question about streaming to Maya, Manosh. I assume you mean the Maya Live plugin. The Maya Live plugin suffers from lag, and I think it's just because you can get it running pretty quickly, but you have to be very low poly, and there's no real solution for that. I don't think it was really intended as a virtual production style thing. In the past, I've used it for getting a sense of a character's proportions or something like that in real time, so you can kind of see how far you might need to kneel, or if you want to try and fake touching your face and your character's arm is too long, you can kind of do that, but there's no real way to speed it up. And it's kind of meant to be used more as a previs. Your best shot with Maya is to do retargeting, not to do live streaming. So hopefully maybe that answers your question, Manosh. But also check the Discord, because smarter people than me are on there and they might have a better answer. But I don't think there really is a way to solve it, especially if you have a high poly character. Maya just isn't really made for real time. Not a very happy answer, but that's kind of, I think, the way that it is. Okay, so now I've character defined my two, my mocap and my character. Let's see if it works. This process can be a little finicky, so it might not. But once you've gone and you defined and you've set reference poses, you've done all this stuff, I'm going to set the reference pose on my mocap too. Click this button right here. You can go to your characters tag. You can go to create solver, and then basically you just drag in this source character, and which is my mocap, right? The source is the mocap. The target is my character. And now if I hit play, looky what we got here. We got a little mocap. He doesn't seem to be translating his root. And this is typically, this can always be a problem, and I don't know why this happens sometimes. So I'm going to go to that solver. I'm actually going to clear it. I'm going to delete the solver because I just want to go back in and have everything be clean. I'm going to go check my manager. And I'm going to check where that root motion should be going. Should be going to the hip. So it should be working. I'm going to try and move my definition down one and see if that helps. But this can be kind of finicky, which can be a little frustrating. So I just moved it down to the hip from the overarching bone. And then I'll try adding he still seems to be locked into place. Maybe there's a little keyframe on him or something. It's not from Mixamo. But I could quickly rig this guy in Mixamo and that would fix it. You know what? In fact, I might just do that because that's going to be easier. So I'm going to get real hacky with this. We're going to create current state to object. Let's re-rig this guy on Mixamo because I know it'll work there. So if you just basically, you know, I got my straight up character here. I'm just going to export an FBX. This is janky. I mean, I'm sure that I could get it to work, but I just don't. I'm lazy and I don't want to. So we're going to go to Mixamo. We're just going to re-rig it there. What would we do without Mixamo? I know not, because it is still the backbone of so many things. I really hope at some point we'll have an auto rigger solution within Rokoko Studio. Oh, that would be amazing. Because it's so great for Mixamo is great in general. Even as a competitor, I guess we are. But it's really, Mixamo is kind of what we're shooting for. But hopefully, the thing is, I think about Mixamo that's unfortunate is that we all know the animations by heart now. So especially in the CG world, like you can tell, I recognize animations all the time of Mixamo. I'm like, oh, I know that dance. That's rumba dancing, or that's whatever, the walk. It's especially with the dance things and for like social media posts. That's why I love the motion libraries. You can find some more unique, interesting stuff on there, as opposed to the capoeira dance that everyone's seen from Mixamo like 8,000 times. Neuralite. Facial rigging similar to Mixamo. Not for blend shapes. There are facial rigging, like Auto Rig Pro and Blender, I think, does facial rigging, and it has like a auto-ish system where it auto weights and skins your character. But it's bone based. It's not blend shape based, which is what a lot of facial mocap works off of. That is in the indie realm. The metahumans, for example, are all blend shapes. So I don't think there is really an auto system, but there are places that you can get rigged faces. Like Daz has integrated ARKit blend shapes into their new characters. So you can get, you buy a character for $5 and they will all be rigged. You can add the blend shapes in. Who knows this process? Make sure you get the elbows and the hands. This guy's really short. Body's interesting. Get our knees here. Renix, what's going on? Good to see you. Renix, I realized, I think Renix has a bunch of tutorials and uses the suit and everything, and made a really cool SWAT animation recently. But I realized, I think, from back when I was working as a freelance MoGraph person before I started working at Rokoko, I actually looked at one of your old X-Particles tutorials. I guess I was back in X-Particles and I was looking through tutorials and I was like, oh, I know this one. I remember doing this wave tank one. And then I was like, Renix VFX. I know that guy. Oh man, Renix, sorry to hear that. I hope you get better soon. Liquids, I'm sure you're hearing that a lot, but liquids and rest, I imagine. Can you try clapping the hand of a teddy bear? I could try clapping hands, but I don't think we will this time. Neuralite, are there any plans to open up the motion library to user content? That is the idea eventually. Studio, working title, Studio 2. It's actually just going to be called Rokoko Studio, the new Rokoko. It'll be a new version of Rokoko Studio. We don't want that 2 in there. But the idea with Rokoko Studio, the new one, is that it's going to be much more... Ooh, that does not look good. Look at that. Real jacked up. Didn't like the auto rigging on this guy. What happened? Back. This guy might be too compact. We'll try. We'll go back to working on it in cinema if this doesn't work. But yeah, the new studio is going to be much more collaborative. You know, that's kind of where we see the industry going, is you want to be able to share things with people and have other people in your sessions and stuff. So that will kind of be, there will be a way to share animations a little bit more. And then eventually from the motion library, the dream has always been to open it up to be a marketplace. It's just really hard to do quality control if we did that. So we're still kind of working through that. Because muscle memory, Finn, that's why. I haven't tried. I didn't know. Does KineFX do skinning as well? I'm sure it does. But does it do auto skinning? I don't want to do any work. Smooth passes to the weight. Skeleton. Agreed. Why Mixamo? Just for the character, it's... Okay, this isn't going to work. So, you just... It's... You know, we can see here, the DAS system sometimes is really odd. With how it does, you know, the retargeting in cinema is just a little bit frustrating sometimes, I find. So he's not translating his root motion, and I'm just not sure why. So I thought that it would be quicker just to go to Mixamo, but I guess not. Might just have to use a different character for this. Usually I just fiddle around with this until it like kind of starts working, but it's not the most economical thing to do on stream. Although, of course, I've already... wasted some time, it seems. Let me try adding this to the torso. There isn't really there isn't really a way to modify the skeleton from DAS. unfortunately. Doing a classic Googling. Okay. I forget, I think what, I do you have to put it into a null or something? It's like something like that. Let's go back to frame 1. Let's try this one more time, and then if this doesn't work, I'm just going to use another character just to get it going. It could be a robot in the woods too. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes adding it to a null is kind of what you need to do. Oh. Maybe it's also the order that it's in the Cinema 4D can be pretty finicky about the order things are in your project, in your outliner. Left collar. Let's do it again. Right. And we'll just do some leggies real quick. And then if this doesn't work, I'm just going to grab a character that I know will work. Oh, gosh. Bother. Look at left, right. That matters. Left thigh. Left shin. Left foot. Set reference pose. Create solver. No, he doesn't want to move. I mean, we could just hand animate this guy. Get real dirty. No, that doesn't work either. Okay, we're just going to grab a skeleton that does work. Let's go back. Let's get our trusty interceptor. And this guy should work better. It's tough. I mean, really, this is, I do think that, unfortunately, Cinema is still working on its implementation of retargeting. Usually characters with their different sizes too can be really tough. But we'll see. Foot. Then we need to just make sure that our set reference pose, create solver. Let's try this. Is this going to work? We'll see. this weird root motion thing. So frustrating. What is this? I forget the solution to this. Sorry, everyone. I'm gonna have to reacquaint myself with this workflow. Let's grab yet another guy. Use the Rokoko fighter guy. Where is it? Rokoko warrior. Generally, anything rigged on Mixamo works really well in cinema. And this guy was. So you can see. Do it with this guy. And it works perfectly fine. So it's a Viking now. Let's go with the Viking. It's something about nulls, and maybe it's just it needs to be underneath it. Nice. Sadiq, that's awesome. Connecting the root bones. Neuralite. I'm begging to group the robot and his skeleton. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm reading some of these. You've got to attach the root bone? Do you mean... Not sure what you mean. Anyway, this works, and it's gonna be a little Viking guy now. We can always replace the character. But yeah, you know, that's that's kind of the workflow. Add the mesh and skeleton. Yeah, works most of the time. Right, Neuralite. Yeah, it does work most of the time, but then it doesn't work on stream, of course. Usually it's like one weird thing, one weird thing to get your mocap working. But it's like, maybe it was the order or just, I guess I wasn't attaching the root motion or the root bone or something, or I was using the wrong bone. You can get it to work with fiddling, but unfortunately, Cinema 4D just isn't the best for retargeting. If you're using Mixamo, you generally get the best results. Shane, is there any specific things we will be judged on in the contest? The specific things are just creativity when it came to the prompt. Render quality will kind of play into it. To me, that's one of the least important things. But the way that you use the mocap essentially is going to be a big one, and just making sure that it was implemented correctly. I saw how arms could deform a bit into the body, and can it clap its hands? Contest details and questions can be found on the Discord, so that is the place. I just threw it in the chat again, but that is the place where you can get all the deets and ask questions of people who are more in the loop a little bit than I am. I saw the arms deform a bit into the body. Can it clap its hands? The teddy bear? Its hands might be too... I don't know. I don't know if it can. Manosh, I don't think that I'm set up. I don't think that I can. We're also going to spend this month focused on the contest, but we do need to kind of do an overhaul of the virtual production workflow, so that will be coming in the future at some point. But we probably won't do it next week. I'm sorry to say. Anyway, got my mocap onto a character. A little frustrating, but was able to do it. So that is great. And, generally what I do, what you can do in cinema is, because this is a reference, right? This is a referencing the mocap. There's no keyframes on our character, actually. There's this initial keyframe that Mixamo adds that I always try and delete. But there's no keyframes. And if we wanted to actually copy the keyframes, we could select all the bones. So I could go select my Viking skeleton, select all the bones, select children. That will select everything in this tree. go up to my dope sheet in the timeline. And if you go to Functions, Bake Objects, and you uncheck Create Copy, hit OK. Now I can actually delete my mocap, delete all my tags, and I've got the keyframes on my character. And what this also means is that I can do things like, if I add a motion clip, and I'm going to uncheck Remove Included Animation, I add a motion clip, and I hit Add here. I open in TL. I have this 2 layers now. Here's my mocap layer, and here's a blank layer. If I add this blank layer above, I can go in and actually make some edits to the mocap, which is another difficult thing to do usually. But let's say that, you know, I wanted this left arm to be, I don't know, bent. I wanted it to be like this the whole time, right? I could move that, add a keyframe, and now my character, it didn't get rid of the original animation, but it added a little motion on top. You know, he's looking down. I don't want him to be looking down. I can go to the neck, or probably the head. You know, what if I want him to be looking straight? Add a keyframe. Now he's looking straight for the whole thing. You know, I can add a keyframe here, have him look back. You know, and then you can keyframe on top of your mocap, which is really cool. I believe the new suit will, there's some software. Oh, Cinematic Captures, join in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. If you don't know Cinematic Captures, man, you're missing out, because king of the virtual production space. So there aren't, we weren't able to like change the sensors so that they are now not affected by magnetic interference, similar to the gloves. The gloves aren't affected by magnetic interference. So we weren't able to do that, but we are doing some things with the new studio software to hopefully eliminate some of the, you know, interference, magnetic interference you can get. Short answer, basically, it's still possible to get magnetic interference, but we have done other things to reduce the amount of drift that you might get from magnetic interference. And a lot of those things are software based in the new studio software, and we'll be able to push some of that for firmware stuff. But unfortunately, it will still be a thing if you have tons of magnetic interference. We weren't able to get rid of it in this iteration of the suit. Faux Famit, man, good to see you. Faux Famit on their channel all the time. Talk about VTubing as well. Man, VTube and stars in the chat. Use Faux Famit's tutorials all the time and trying to work towards better VTubing workflows. So for Vive Tracker, yeah, the Vive Tracker is basically an anchor point. Yeah, it's essentially, you know, it acts as a global positioning. You know, so it helps. You know, the suit doesn't do elevation tracking in its current iteration. It will be coming now with the 2. But like you could basically use a tracker and it will do the global translation a little bit better. And it will base it off the Vive Tracker location as opposed to the translations that are being interpreted from your foot contact with the ground, which is how it normally does it. Yes, Sadiq. Yeah. So you use it for props or whatever. Man, Faux Famit. So cool to see you. Welcome. Yeah, no, it just works as a prop tracker, you know, but it's on your mocap suit, so it just, you know, that's the way that you can use it. But also, the whole workflow needs a little bit of love because it's a little bit older. I generally don't really recommend it, although people do use it. Yes, a lot of the software stuff will help the new suit. The older suits, the new suits have some hardware changes that have gone into them that make them a little bit faster and just you know, better. But the new studio software is going to unlock a lot of other you know, advancements that'll work with the old suit as well. So firmware updates will be able to push some improvements to older suits as well. Is kind of, yeah. Yes, the one battery is going to be amazing, and just having it all integrated into a single thing is really, I think that's a big change on the hardware side. But yeah, anyway, so this is you know, this is a little thing. You know, we're doing pretty good on time here, but I think what we can do now is we could like block out a little scene. Yes, the other guy, you can. That will still work. Although that, again, that workflow is finicky, so I generally try not to tell people to rely on it because you got a lot of things going with that workflow, and which means more things can go wrong, you know. So if I were to kind of follow through with my idea here, which was, you know, a little tree trunk kind of vibe that they're walking on in the forest. You know, we could maybe move this guy a little bit. You know, we could tilt him down. He's not really, his body won't be working in the right way if we tilt him down, but I think this is kind of, oh, what happened? I have to keyframe this? You know, I would kind of, the way that I would do it is I would start just by blocking out the scene a little bit. So I was thinking like he would be crossing a little like lake bed kind of thing. So yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah. So this is like, you know, we'd have a little lake bed. Let's get rid of this world access here. Oh, no, I mean, yeah, world access. We don't need that. We don't need the grid. Oh, work plane. Yeah, there we go. Actually, we can just go to filter geometry only. Yeah, and then, you know, I just add in some little guys for the trees. Up, go out of geometry only. Place these guys. Around here. You know? Yeah, profam it. That's the vibe. It just, things can go, it's more things that can go wrong, I find. But, you know, it might be what you're looking for. And people do use it, and people do love the vibe tracking solution. But I just haven't used it a lot myself. So there we go. You know, we could get some like falling leaves would kind of be the vibe. And, you know, we just get a bunch of rocks and stuff. Just in this riverbed. I try to add little rocks at the base of, you know, things to integrate them a little bit. You know, and this already, like, I think looks, you know, pretty cool. And like what we could do is just even add like a big rock or something in the background here. Yeah, this is kind of the vibe. Yeah, it'd be interesting to try and use prop tracking. Faux Fambit, I think yours are the tutorials, and maybe I'm wrong, but with the I think you have the moving microphone, which is pretty cool, which I think was done with Vive trackers. That was a really good implementation. And the seat, I don't know, is that you? Maybe that's someone else. Yeah. So anyway, this is we're well on our way to a submission, and again, I'm just gonna keep tinkering with this, and next week we'll jump into Blender. Yes, Fofamid has an amazing workflow for a tracked chair and like movable IK microphone thing. It's really cool. Man, Fofamid, I've been looking at your content so much recently as we've been trying to get better workflows for VTubing, and go-to spot, man. It's where you find all the best info. It's really been great. You have amazing stuff. Everyone check it out if you're looking for VTubing stuff. And Pixel Fire and cinematic captures. Everyone's great. But yeah, lots of very useful tutorials on Fofamit's site. Or channel. Yeah, so I mean, if I was, to keep moving this forward, what I would probably do is just go into Bridge, which I use a lot. Quixel Bridge, which is just a asset library. It's owned by Epic, but you can import directly into Cinema or Blender or whatever it is. And I would just go on a little asset hunt. So let's go into Collections and go find some foresty type vibes. Burnt forest? No. Wetland, that could be good. Let's go wetland. Let's download it. Download it. Ooh, mossy ground, download it. Sticks, download it. Ooh, mossy creek stones. This is really what we're looking for, this mossy stuff. I want it to be lots of mossy vibe. Ooh, mossy log. Ooh, mossy rock. Mossy roots. Ooh, wooden stump. This looks great. And I'm just kind of going in and downloading a ton of different stuff. This is really good and detailed looking. And then we need a big tree stump. We need a big tree that the tree log or whatever that the Viking is crossing. Which I know I've seen lots of interesting tree. Okay. These are bark. It's bark. Spruce tree trunk. Aspen tree trunk. Pine. This forest is not going to make any sense, I'm sure. Like in terms of what the actual things are. This looks good. Let's try that. And let's start with that. So these are all, being downloaded, and now I can go and actually add them into the scene. And there's lots of stuff on here, obviously. I mean, I don't need to talk about how great Quixel is, because I think everybody knows at this point, but great place to find stuff. Spruce tree trunk. Was that? No, I wanted a pine tree trunk. It's just still downloading all the different stuff that I went and got. Wooden stump. Let's start getting this stuff in here, actually. It's really annoying how you can open up multiple versions of Quixel. Hit export. I've already set it up to export out to Cinema. And it will just, yep, here it is. Look, boom. It's in. So great. Okay, so the scale of my scene is a little bit jacked up. which is okay, but I think it was some great advice I heard once, which was to try to use, you don't want to scale things to be bigger than they would be in reality, because it just, you start to not buy it as much. Oop. You know, but we can just start adding a couple of these guys in. And usually what I do is just a little bit of like randomness here. And I'm actually going to start up my Octane. I'm going to save. And Quixel doesn't really have full trees, but they have a lot of tree trunks. So because things aren't going to be, you know, in the foreground, we just need tree trunks to fill up the space. So that should be fine. Let's add a little temporary light. Here. And I'm definitely going to go and try and get that teddy bear working again, because I think that will be way better. But yeah, let's wait. I want to get that spruce in there. Here it is, birch, the birch tree trunk. And let's do what I just said we shouldn't do, which is scale this thing up to be bigger than it kind of should be. Why do I have 2 octane daylights? That's no good. Delete. I'm just going to delete this daylight for now. Filter, presets, default. So this is kind of how I would go about setting this up. And yeah, I'm just going to make this guy way too big, but it's okay. And we'll just use some sneakiness to hide the feet. You know, there we go, looking pretty good. And like we can hide some of this other, you know, some of this other stuff. And you know, basically this is like kind of the fun part. This is where you just start throwing things in, seeing if they look good, replacing stuff, grabbing a material. Ooh, do we have a material for this creek bed? That's what I want. Surfaces, mossy creek stones. Download. Yes. Interesting. I'm not sure, Mega Steak Man. I'm not sure how you'd use a vibe trapper for a prop. I think it would work, because it's all in the same. I don't think that there would be a problem. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not thinking that through correctly. Okay, well, here's the rocks. Convert them to an octane material. Might need to go and get the displacement better. Well, so this is not a tileable material. This displacement is very odd looking. Let's delete this guy. And instead, I just want to see what this looks like. Not right. So I might need to kind of do my own. Sometimes you just need to export to an FBX or just to you know, not actually to the program, especially with textures, export settings. I'm just going to choose a custom disk export. And I'm going to throw it in here. Vive trackers are your life right now. Oof. Equal parts wonderful and terrifying, I'm sure, and annoying. Okay, so go get this Mossy Creek stones. Here's the albedo. Let's go add a displacement. Here's the displacement. Yeah, this looks more correct. What is it? Got a roughness here. Ooh, and it's got a normal. Of course it's got a normal. Okay, so let's try and throw this onto here. There we go. That looks like it should. Yeah. Look, we got some mossy, you know, some creek rocks here. We need some stones and we need some dirt. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep doing this for a couple more minutes. And yes, Ahmet, win that Rokoko suit. Get on that Discord. That's the place to, I don't know, ask questions. And I haven't mentioned the Discord in 10 minutes, so I gotta mention it. Okay, what else do we got on here? Well, let's take a look at this bridge. Mossy ground. Let's grab that. And then, ooh, that swamp water. That could be good too. And what you can do, we'll use some tricky tricks to kind of integrate some of this stuff, I think. So if I create another landscape, and I'm going to go in and add this other material, mossy ground, displacement needs the mossy ground displacement. We need that mossy ground normal. A little roughness. Oh no, I've been clicking the wrong thing. Roughness, make sure the normal is correct. Cool. So now we have a mossy ground material, and what I can do is just basically duplicate this texture. I'm gonna make it 15, and I kind of just want to add it to the upper slopes. And then there's a couple different ways that we could kind of get this into position. You know, it's actually probably easier to take the landscape, the first landscape, and basically what you can do, this is very quick and dirty. Let's save a copy of this. Let's name these a little bit better. This is a riverbed stones. This is mossy ground. This is our, just call that, I just want to make sure that this works. Make it editable. What's going on here? Oh. Don't know why it's not. Okay, so it's not showing in here for some reason. That's a fun little quirk. Okay, hold on. What am I doing here? Let's go. Let's go back. What's the best way to do this? What's up, Perks Films? What's going on? I'm gonna undock this guy. Okay, riverbed stones. Don't know why it's doing this. Okay, I'm gonna add a camera. I'm just gonna do it in the display window. There we go. So this kind of thing is a very jury-rigged way to do this. And let's see if it's working at all. Yeah, so you can, here. But you can see now we just got our stones in the middle. Let's add a little interest, a little, you know, make it a little bit more interesting. And I'm just going to go and grab a couple of these Rockies. And then I think I'm going to try and add a couple more. Yes, Perks Films. You can find all the information for the contest on the Discord in the Made for Rokoko channel. It has all the submitting rules and everything, all the info, so I check that out. And the Discord is also just a great resource for questions in general. So if you ever have any questions, there's usually somebody on there. Standard deviation helmet, getting real. That's awesome. Standard deviation is probably, it's the best you can get, right? That's so cool. Man, jelly. Okay, just gonna make this a little bit bigger. And now I got some of these rocks and stuff that have been added. Oh no, that was the tree. Oh, it's okay. It was exporting Well, let's just import. It was exporting those custom. It wasn't exporting into Cinema. So let's go grab these mossy rocks. And we need to add a little material to them. Go grab all those mossy rock. Mats. Normal. LOD0. Does it have a displacement? It does. And it has a roughness. Cool. Good looking mossy rocks right here. Yeah, we just kind of go in and we just continue to add detail and stuff until we have something that we like. Very shiny. Currently, everything is very shiny. Probably need a little bit less of that. Ooh, loving me some shadows. You know, we'll get more granular with the lighting as we keep moving. I'm just going to temporarily put these trees in here. You know, but starting to look like something. Okay, so this is great. I kind of want to do a last ditch. Let's try and get that Daz character working again, because I really do want it to get working. So if you just joined us recently at the beginning of the stream, we tried to get the mocap retargeted onto this Daz character, and it was giving us some guff. So let's try that one more time. If we can't get it working, then we'll kind of I'll come back to it next week. But yeah, definitely want to try to get it working with this little cute teddy bear character that we had. So I need to go first grab my mocap that I downloaded from the motion library. I can just go to open folder in Rokoko Studio, and it'll bring me right there. Add it to my project. Let's extend the timeline out. Here we go. We got our little walking mocap. I'm going to add a rigging character definition tag. Extract skeleton, all works automatically. Set reference pose. Okay, this mocap is ready to be retargeted. Let's try and go grab that, you know, that teddy bear again. Let's see if we can get this guy working. Okay. So first thing I'm actually going to do this time, I'm going to work backwards here, or work in the best possible way, which is set everything up, make sure it's in the right T-pose before we do anything. Then try and do the you know, the character definition. This pelvis, I bet, is what's causing problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this whole bad boy into a null. Daz teddy bear, teddy, and add the character definition to that null. And this should work. Open the manager, go through and actually get everything. And okay, root, we're gonna make the Genesis male, hips, spine, neck, head. Now we do the left arm. And basically you just go through and you assign all these bones to the proper, the corresponding thing in this list. And it should work for us, but C4D is classically finicky, I find, for retargeting stuff. It just isn't really set up for it. So hopefully this will work. Thigh bend, left shin, left foot, and then do the same for the right foot. There we go. Definitely. You can definitely edit the mocap all you want. I'm not, we should go to the Discord and ask these questions because I'm not actually running the contest. I think for me, it's fine to have non-Rokoko animations included as long as your hero animations are Rokoko, right? The focus, the main mocap has to be Rokoko. So you can definitely edit that mocap all you want, change up the fingers or actually tweak it if there's clipping issues or something like that. You can totally mess with it. But it's kind of like the hero should be Rokoko mocap, right? It's not like technically there's Rokoko mocap like in the back and it's like clearly a Mixamo animation is like in the front. No, that's not going to work. It needs to be Rokoko mocap focused, but you can have other, if you needed an idol that you didn't have any money to spend on the motion library, and you needed an idol, and you couldn't find it for free in the motion library, and it's a background character, I think it's fine to use a Mixamo. It's kind of it's the hero character. Okay, foot, left foot, right foot. Okay, yep, all good. Set reference pose, boom. Is this gonna work? Create solver. Add my mocap into the source. No, still root. So no, this is not. It's not giving you the translation on the hip, and I have no idea why. This is like one of those. Oh, you know what? Right, I didn't try this last time. I actually want to switch up. Nope, that doesn't make a difference. God, he looks so cute and good. I just want him to translate. Look at this little cutie. So I'll have to go in and figure out what the issue is here. It's definitely, it's something that I've come across before, and there's always a solution to it, but it generally just, it's like the way that where you put these character definition tags. Try a couple more things here. So make the root the hips instead. The constraint tag. Oh, interesting. On the hips? Huh. I like that. Let's try it. This looks like a 2.5er to me. Look at me, I'm a big guy now. We kind of want the hips to be in the same place, so he might be really, his proportions are a little bizarre. 4, 4, 4. 2, 2, 2. Let's try that. Oh, that's such an interesting solution. I mean, I think that can work. constraint tag. What I would really just like hips. And I want it to yeah. So that's not gonna work. Mocap character hip. But that doesn't, that's so bizarre because it does work. Like this same setup works on this guy, which is a Mixamo rig. Like this works fine. No constraints. It's something about the character and the way that it's set up or something, or maybe there's a keyframe hidden somewhere or something like that. Let's try this one more time, and we might call it. Constraint, I'm going to parent it. Huh. I mean, I could hand key this. This seems to interrupt the retargeting. Oh, no, I just don't have a solver anymore. Right. Constraint, parent it. Let's parent it to the hip. Create a solver. Oh, wow. Yeah, so if he was a lot bigger, this would work, I guess. Janky. Technically works. You could like local offset. Yeah, you could like remove the yeah, it's something like that. It's some weird little issue. I mean, you could probably just hand key it and that would be like the best solution to this. You know, you could I hate doing this sort of thing. I'm gonna bake this to my character. And then like you could wait, he's moving now. What the hell? He's like moving too much, but he's moving. Bizarre. It's always something like this. Huh. Well, there you go. And to like fix this, you could do some jankiness like this. So it's like a crappy mix here. But it's doable. He looks so sad. Yeah, so you could do something like this, you know? Take this, send it back. Here we go. Null it up again. Pretty cute. So this would obviously need to be fixed quite a bit. He's also walking on the wrong axis. But you get the picture. So that gets you part of the way there. I want to see this guy. Yeah. Just thinking about his honey. Oh, now Octane isn't updating. Yeah, this is the time to probably call the stream. Yeah, so this was, you know, ran into some problems, kind of fixed them at the end, but, you know, this was one. What I wanted to cover basically was if you did not have a suit, how do I get animations and how do I participate? And that's going to be through the motion library and probably using the free motion library assets. So next week we'll probably do the same kind of thing in Blender with a different idea maybe. I might spend a little time making this look a little bit better because I think this looks pretty freaking cute. Can you imagine this with like falling leaves? Come on. New beginnings, ready to go. So this is, you know, this is an example of what you could submit for the contest. And this is like using Rokoko mocap. It works with the theme. You know, needs a lot of tweaking, but we did all of this. And it's been 2 hours, but like this is a pretty good base. And so it's definitely possible to create some really cool stuff in a shortish amount of time for the contest. So I encourage everyone to do it because, you know, these suits got to go out to someone and no reason it shouldn't be you. So thanks for attending, everyone. It's good to see you all. Fofam, it's super cool to have you in the stream just because I've been on your channel so much and the stuff you're putting out for the community is like, I think everyone thanks you. Same thing for cinematic captures and everyone else who stopped by. And a forced IK foot pin to the floor. Norman, so what I would do is use, I would use the foot IK filter in Rokoko Studio for recordings. And then hopefully in Unreal 5, there's going to be some snapping magic that will allow us to maybe do some of that stuff. If you're working in Houdini, there's some really easy ways to do foot snapping with crowds, so you can kind of use the crowd system. It's not easy because it's Houdini, but it's possible. There are ways to do the foot snapping things. Yeah, motion builder. Yeah, you know, there is a forced. In Rokoko Studio, there is the foot IK filter. So if you're doing recordings in Rokoko Studio, you turn on that filter, and it will snap the feet to the floor. And as long as your foot keyframes are correct, I always use the foot IK filter, and that makes sure that your feet aren't sliding around. Dragon IK sounds like maybe it's an option. Yeah, UE5 with a control rig. KinEffects, yeah, but you just got to know. You just got to be you don't have to be a genius to use Houdini, but it can be complicated if you're new to it. iClone has that's cool. Spring, next spring. Oh, I thought it was like a spring type thing, but next spring, I guess there will be a fix. That's amazing. Hopefully, eventually in Rokoko Studio there'll be tools. 3ds Max. Yeah, you know. There's unfortunately not as much support as there should be for how much 3ds Max is still used. Yeah, I don't know any solution to 3ds Max. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. We're going to call it here. And, stay tuned. Join the Discord. I'll put it in the chat one more time here. Discord, please join it. Lots of amazing resources, and people are always online there. The main mod is David Lindbergh, who's an incredible guy who's super smart, and we have our social media managers are in there all the time, and a good place to go for if you have questions, you get stuck in a workflow. Smart people on there, and fun community, lots of fun memes. It's great. Definitely go join, and all the more info about the contest is on there. And with that, we're kind of gonna call it there. Finn, thank you very much. Thank you for joining, everyone. And we're gonna do more next week, so it should be fun. Come and tune in. And I'm gonna, I think this guy looks. I like this little guy. Look at this little guy. New beginnings. The key to this animation is gonna be leaves in a particle system falling down. I think that would really sell this, like in the light, and it'd be cool. So yeah, thanks for coming by, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone. See ya.